Hello students, next we'll study fourth chapter, okay, recording of business transaction part 2. Okay, third chapter we have completed, recording of business transaction part 1. What all we have studied there? Meaning of journal, journal entries, right? Then meaning of ledger, ledger entries, and how to prepare personal account directly from the journal entries that we have studied. Okay, further we'll study the fourth chapter, recording of business transaction part 2. Okay, so what all we are going to study in this? Subsidiary books. Which are subsidiary books and how we are going to prepare it, that we are going to study here. Means second part of recording of business transactions. Okay, that only I said. What all we are going to study here? Meaning of subsidiary books, features of it, then types, then meaning of cash book, features, then types of cash book, then petty cash book and types of petty cash books we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, so let's study with meaning of subsidiary books. Subsidiary books are also called as books of original entry, but journalizing is avoided in this process. Similar type of transactions will be recorded in the one book and they will be directly posted to the ledger. It saves time and also the labor involved in journalizing the posting. Okay, and also the labor involved in journalizing and posting. Okay, so what we're going to record here, it is also called as original entry book, means before journalizing. Okay, means instead of journalizing we will prepare subsidiary books here. Okay, instead to write the journal entries we will prepare subsidiary books. Okay, so only they have given journalizing is avoided in this process. But now for example, all purchase entries will be recorded in purchase books, all sales entries will be recorded in sales book, all cash entries will be recorded in cash book. Like that, different books we will maintain and similar entries will be recorded in the same book. Now for example, if you want any purchase entries or purchase related entries, directly you can go through with the purchase book, so that no need to find out where it is in journal. Okay, this is what subsidiary books we are having. So it is also called as original entry, like journal here, and directly the total of this book will be transferred to our ledger. Okay, and it saves time and also the labor work, and also it is not he. Okay, the labor involved in journalizing as well as posting, because journalizing is avoided. Now to write the journal entry here. Okay, so no need to record the journal entry. Instead of that only we are preparing subsidiary books. Okay, then next we have features of subsidiary books here. So what all features we are having now? Okay, so features of subsidiary books. Okay, they are the books of original entry. So what is the first feature we are having? It is a book of original entry, means we will record all the original entries first time in the subsidiary books. And separate journal is not used to record each class of transactions. Okay, separate journal is not used. Okay, separate journals we are not going to use to record each class of entries. So whatever, means as I said, purchase will be recorded in purchase entries, then sales entries will be recorded in sales, like that. They are assistant to the main book, that is ledger. We know, right? Main book, which is the chief book for our account, that is ledger. Okay, so these subsidiary books act as an assistant to that book. Then in subsidiary books, transactions are not journalized but simply entered in a book. Means in journal how we used to write, along with the entries we used to record the transaction, right, narration. But here no need to record any journal entry, just we are going to enter what is happened, whether it is purchase or sales or purchase returns or sales returns or any cash transaction. Okay, means we are not going to mention any narration here. The next you have the transactions are entered daily in the subsidiary books and therefore they are called day books. Okay, all the transactions whatever will occur daily we will enter in our book, so only we call it as what? Day books also. Means subsidiary books are also called as day books here. Okay, these are the features we are having. Then we will see types of subsidiary books. So what is the first book we are having? Purchase book, which meant to record all credit purchases of the goods, not asset. Remember here, only the goods. Okay, purchase book, it is meant for recording credit purchase of the goods here. Okay, only credit purchases. Okay, if it is cash purchases, definitely it lies under cash book. If it is credit purchase, then only we are going to record it in purchase book. Okay, then sales book. Secondly, we are having sales book, which is meant to record credit sales of the goods here. Okay, sales book, whatever we are having, which is meant to record credit sale of goods. Okay, only goods, not any assets. Then sales returns book, for what it is meant for, goods returned by our customers. Whatever sales we have done, if it is returned by our customer, then it will be recorded sales return book. Then what is purchase return book then? Goods returned to suppliers. Okay, whatever goods we have purchased earlier, that if we returned, it will be recorded in the purchase return book. Okay. The next you have bills receivable book. Now for example, in business, cash and carry business are not common, right? Always it will be on credit basis. First we will purchase, later on we are going to pay the bill, or first we are going to sell our goods, later on we are going to collect the amount on it. Now bills receivable means which we have to receive, which we have drawn the bill on our customers, that we are going to record in our bills receivable book. Means after 2 months, after 3 months, credit duration you had given, and later on you are going to collect that amount. That is bills receivable book you are having. The next you have bills payable book. Now how it is receivable book we are maintaining, we will maintain payable book also, so that we will pay our bill on time, okay, to our creditors. Then what is journal proper? All the transactions which are not considered in purchase book or in sales book or in purchase return book or sales returns book or bills receivable book or bills payable book or cash book, it will be recorded in our journal proper, that is journal. Okay. The next we have, what are the advantages of this book? First one, lot of time and labor is saved. Okay, labor as well as time we are saving by preparing subsidiary books directly instead to prepare journal. As the work can be assigned to different clerks, internal check system will be more effective. Now we can divide our works under subsidiary books. Now purchase, we can allot one clerk to write only purchase entries, and sales, we can allot sales records to record only sales entries. Okay, like that different books you can allot to different persons here, so that work will be more clear, okay, and more effective. And next one, it facilitates easy reference where time when information is necessary. Okay, means now for example, if you want purchase related information directly, if you go with the purchase book, you will come to know everything whatever you have purchased. Now if you want a sales book, sales entries, directly you can go and check in a sales book. Like that, immediately you'll get a information here. More details of transactions can be recorded in the subsidiary book, which is not possible in journal. Okay, once in journal we'll write only the narration, but in subsidiary books you can write more records also of it. Okay, more related information of the transactions. The next you have classification of transactions will be available for analysis. We can classify the transactions: sales, purchase, purchase returns, sales returns, cash, bills receivable and bills payable. Like that we can divide all the transactions, so immediately you can analyze it. Okay, the next we have purchase book. Okay, so what is purchase book? Now first book, it is first subsidiary book. Only credit purchases of goods are to be recorded in this journal or in this journal book. Okay, cash purchases are recorded in cash book. So in purchase book what we will do, we will record only credit purchases. If it is cash purchase, directly we will record in cash book, not in our purchase book. Okay, then the term goods covers only those items that are procured by the business for resale. means if you purchase any asset, okay, it is not a goods. If you purchase anything for your domestic purpose, it is not considered as the goods here. Only the items which you purchase and which you are going to resell, that we call it as what? Goods here. Okay. Then the entries in purchase book are made on the basis of invoices received from the suppliers with the amounts net of trade, quantity and discounts. Invoice we are going to receive, obviously whenever you purchase the goods you will get a receipt along with it. Okay, with the help of it we will record all the purchase transactions. Okay, the next you have, this is the format of purchase book. Okay, we'll be having 6 columns here. First column serial number, then date, on which date we have purchased, and name of the supplier, means from whom we have purchased that goods. Then ledger folio number, means to which ledger, which number we have transferred it. Then II number, inward invoice number it is. II number means what? Inward invoice number. It is not 11 number here. II number it is. Inward invoice number. Okay, means bill receipt number. And lastly we are going to write the amount, how much we have paid on that, means we have to pay on that purchases. This is purchase book format you are having. Then second book which we are having here, sales book. Sales book is used for the purpose of recording the sales of goods on credit. Okay, means only credit sales you can record in our sales book. If it is cash sales, directly you are going to record it in cash book. Okay, not in a sales book here. So whatever the sales we have done on credit basis, that will be transferred to sales book, or that will be recorded in a sales book. Now it records neither the cash sales of the goods nor the sale of any asset other than the merchandise, means other than the goods what we have planned to sell. Okay, if you sell any asset, it will not be considered in a sales book, it will be directly recorded in asset book. Okay, but only the goods what we have sold on credit basis, that we are going to record in sales book. Then entries in this book, how we are going to record? Invoices issued to our customer. Now whenever we sell the goods, we are going to issue the bill along with that, invoice we call it as. Okay, with the help of it you are going to record all the amount what you have, how much you should receive, quantity how much we have sold, and discount how much we have given. Okay, so that is how we are going to record the sales book, with the help of outward invoices, means invoices what we have prepared and given to our customers. So this is the format of sales book you have. So sales book, SL number, serial number first column, date as usual, on which date we have sold, and name of the customer. In purchase book what we have written, name of the supplier, but here it is name of the customer to whom we have sold out. Then ledger folio number, then outward invoice number. OI number means what it is? Outward invoice number, which we have given out to our customer, the invoice, that it is. Then lastly we are going to write the amount, how much you have to collect from that particular customer here. Okay, then next we have purchase return book. This book is used for the purpose of recording the returns of merchandise purchased on credit, means whatever we got the returns from our customers, means whatever we have transferred, okay, that will be return from our customer, that we are going to record in a purchase return book here. It records neither the return of goods purchased on cash basis nor the return of any asset other than the merchandise. So here we are not going to mention if we sold the goods on cash basis. If we have sold out the goods on cash basis, it will, if it is returned, then we won't record it in purchase book. Only credit purchases what we have taken, what we have purchased on goods on credit basis, if it is returned to our suppliers, only then we will mention it in our purchase return book. Okay, then entries made on the basis of debit notes issued to the suppliers. Okay, so along with the goods whatever we are sending to our suppliers, we will send debit note also how much goods we are returning to them. So that is debit note we will call it as. Okay, so all the entries whatever we are going to record in our purchase return book, it will be on the basis of debit note. Okay, which includes how much goods we are returning, what is the value of it, okay, to our customers, means what is the quantity we are returning to them, to our suppliers. Now this is the format we have of purchase return book. Serial number as usual like previous one, then date, then name of the supplier to whom we are returning the goods, okay, then ledger folio, then debit note number. First one it was in purchase book II number, inward invoice number, in sales book outward invoice number, here it is debit note number, okay, and name of the supplier we are having as we are returning goods to our suppliers, okay. Then last column amount, how much goods we have returned to them, like, okay, I hope you are clear with that. The next we'll move to sales returns book, okay, sales return book. Now it is used for the purpose of recording the returns of merchandise sold on credit, okay. So sales returns book, we are going to record the transactions or the entries or the goods which you have received from your customers which you have sold on credit basis, okay, compulsorily on credit basis, whatever you have sold out which is returned from your customer, that you are going to record in your sales returns book. And it records neither the return of merchandise sold on cash basis nor the return of any asset other than merchandise, okay. It records neither the return of merchandise sold on cash basis nor the return on any asset other than the merchandise, means goods whatever you have sold on credit basis, only that we will record here, okay, if it is returned. Now for example, goods you have sold out on cash basis which is returned, okay, or asset you have sold out and that asset been returned from your customer, those both will not be recorded in your sales return book. It is meant to record only the goods which is returned from your customer which you have sold on credit basis, okay. Neither we won't record any cash basis returns here or any asset which is returned from your customer, it will not be returned here, it will not be recorded in sales returns book. Then last one, entries are made on the basis of credit note issued to the customers, okay. Now entries how we are going to record in your sales returns book, it is on the basis of credit notes issued to your customers, okay. Whatever you have received, you have issued to your customers, credit note we are going to issue, that will be returned from your, means whatever goods you have received from your customer, that time you will give one credit note, okay. With the help of that credit note we are going to record the transaction, okay. So this is the format you have of sales returns book, okay. Sales returns book. Now sales returns serial number, then date, name of the customer to whom, from whom we have received the return of goods, then ledger folio, then CN number. What is CN number? Credit note number, okay. Then amount, it is how much goods we got returns from our customers.